There's a place in Tuscany where the ancient stone isn't just a ruin, but a silent guardian of a forgotten epic. Here, every boulder, every wall is a carved page of history, a whisper of civilizations that have danced between splendor and oblivion. Welcome to Roselle, a gem nestled in the heart of the Tuscan Maremma, a name few pronounce yet deserves to resonate with the same power as Pompeii or Ostia Antica. Prepare to embark on a journey into the distant past, to a city that, for millennia, dominated the scene, then slipped into obscurity only to re-emerge today, proud and captivating, an enigma of beauty and resilience waiting to be unraveled. Roselle stands majestically on a secluded hill, a veritable natural fortress. From here, the gaze is lost in a breathtaking panorama. To the north, the fertile and lush Ombrone Valley extends like a green carpet, dotted with cultivated fields and ancient villages. To the southwest, on a clear day, the silvery glow of the Tyrrhenian Sea blends with the horizon, and in the distance, as if by magic, the unmistakable outline of the island of Elba looms. It's not hard to imagine why the ancients chose this very spot to found a city, an unparalleled strategic position which guaranteed control and prosperity. This is where the story of Roselle begins, carved not only in the land, but also in the dreams and ambitions of peoples who have learned to read the language of nature and harness it. Roselle has been for centuries, and in part still is today, a stone crown encircling its hill, a symbol of power and resistance, but also an eloquent testimony to how time, while transforming, can never completely erase the grandeur of what once was. The first great civilization to leave its indelible mark here was the Etruscans, a mysterious and refined people whose legacy still pervades every corner of Tuscany today. It was the Etruscans who built the imposing Cyclopean walls that still surround the ancient city today. These are not simple enclosures, but a monumental feat of engineering, a true marvel of construction. Imagine colossal stone blocks, some weighing several tons, cut and fitted together with pinpoint precision without mortar, only the skillful art of gravity and pressure. These walls, which in some places reach impressive heights and thicknesses, seem to defy time itself. It's not just their grandeur that's striking, but the testimony to the greatness of a people capable of combining brute force with a profound knowledge of construction techniques. For the Etruscans, these walls were not only a defense against enemies, but a visible symbol of their power, their identity, and their faith. Roselle, or Rucellai as they called it, was one of the 12 Lucumanies, the most important city-states of the Etruscan Dodecapolis, Quum Dies Stadi, a leading religious and commercial center. Its walls, even today, stand as a silent reminder of that era, a glorious scar on the landscape that reminds us of the mastery and ingenuity of those who conceived them over 2 millennia ago. They not only protected the heart of the city, but also defined its sacredness, creating a clear boundary between the profane and the sacred worlds. Then, as often happens in history, another unstoppable force appeared on the horizon, the Roman Empire. The handover between the Etruscans and the Romans was not always peaceful, but it was undeniably a turning point. Roselle, after a long siege and tenacious resistance, fell to Rome in 294 BC. Despite the conquest, the Romans, known for their pragmatic intelligence, did not simply destroy what they found, rather, they integrated and transformed, grafting their worldview onto the Etruscan one. What had been an ancient religious center with its temples and sacred ways gradually transformed into a vibrant and orderly Roman center, pulsating with civic and social life. The heart of this transformation was the Forum, the Roman Agora, a place of meeting, trade, justice, and celebration. Roselle saw the construction of elegant temples dedicated to the deities of the Roman pantheon, imposing structures that reflected the devotion and grandeur of the empire. Thermal baths also arose, not simply baths, but true social complexes, places of leisure, of care for the body and spirit, where citizens could relax, discuss politics, or simply socialize. But perhaps the most evocative addition still visible today was the amphitheater. Dug directly into the earth, taking advantage of the natural shape of the hill, this amphitheater was the stage for gladiatorial games and public spectacles, a tangible testimony to the Roman love of entertainment and display. Imagine the cheers of the crowd, the clanging of swords, the thrill of anticipation in this place that today is shrouded in an almost surreal silence. The Romans brought to Roselle a precise urban plan, aqueducts that guaranteed water, and roads that connected it to the rest of the empire. It was not just a military conquest, but a true refoundation, which launched Roselle into a new era of splendor and integration into the vast Roman world. This transformation left a historical legacy that makes Roselle a unique site, where Etruscan roots are still palpable beneath the Roman veneer. For over 1,000 years, from before the arrival of Rome until the fall of the empire and beyond, the streets of Roselle teemed with life. They were not simple paths through ruins, but the pulsating arteries of a dynamic and prosperous city. Merchants and artisans, men and women from all walks of life, animated this place, helping to build a complex and vibrant society. Imagine the crowded markets, where goods from every corner of the Mediterranean were exchanged: fine ceramics, precious fabrics, exotic spices, oil and wine from the fertile surrounding lands. The air resounded with the chatter of negotiations, the clang of blacksmiths' hammers, the singing of women at the loom. The artisans of Roselle were renowned for their skill, creating everyday objects and works of art that adorned homes and temples. The wealth and industriousness of these activities were not only economic, but cultural, fueling an intellectual and artistic fervor. But beyond the frenzy of daily life, there was one constant that accompanied every inhabitant, from the humblest artisan to the richest patrician: the view. From the windows of their homes, from the porticos of the baths, and even from the steps of the amphitheater, an unparalleled panorama opened up, a breathtaking view that spanned the verdant countryside, where fields of wheat swayed in the wind and forests rose towards the hills. And then the deep blue of the Tyrrhenian Sea, with its white sails and the shimmer of the sun on the water. On the clearest days, the horizon offered the unmistakable profile of the island of Elba, a landmark for sailors and a dream for those watching from land. This view was not only a visual feast, but a constant reminder of Roselle's privileged location, its connection to the land and the sea, and the opportunities it offered. It was a natural stage on which life unfolded, a panorama that inspired, reassured, and connected its inhabitants with the world around them. Today, Roselle is no longer the bustling city it once was. Time has left its mark, not in destruction, but in transformation, a place of profound and evocative silence, where voices and clangs once resounded, now only the rustling of the wind through the wild olive trees breaks the stillness. And it is precisely among these ancient trees, which have embraced the ruins as if they were an integral part of nature, that the remains of a city that has resisted emerge, not through force, but with the dignity of its past. Walking along the paths of the archaeological park, you come across the remains of the Forum, still recognizable today in its layout, a testament to the orderly Roman urban planning. The remains of the baths, with their faded mosaics and now empty pools, tell of ancient rites of purification and socialization. The amphitheater, in particular, with its steps carved into the rock and the grass covered arena, retains an almost magical atmosphere, conjuring images of spectacles and cheering crowds. Every stone, every fragment whispers stories of a glorious past, of civilizations that have flourished and faded, leaving behind an indelible legacy. Today, Roselle is a place where history isn't just something to be studied in books, but something to be touched, something to be breathed in the air. It's an archaeological site of hidden beauty, an enigmatic charm that attracts those seeking something more than a simple relic. It is one of the most evocative and unfortunately still largely unknown corners of ancient Tuscany. This place is not just an open air museum, but an invitation to reflection. Here, history and nature blend in perfect harmony, creating a landscape that speaks of the transience of human life compared to the eternity of nature, but also of the enduring power of memory. Roselle reminds us that even in silence and oblivion, greatness can persist, waiting only to be rediscovered. It is a lesson in humility and wonder, an archaeological treasure worth knowing and loving, a silent witness to distant eras that still speak to us today, if only we know how to listen. If you are moved by Roselle's story, don't miss our next video on another hidden gem in Tuscany.